the Nigerian Tribune, and CJN charges ECOWAS court at Napoli, says Osimhen. That's a big one.
Well, we know the episodes that he encountered back then, so it's no surprise that he's coming out now, and that's on his return to play with Galatasaray against Juventus. A lot of people asking questions about facing another Italian heavyweight in there. So it was always coming when we get revelations on what really happened. But we saw some of those scenes, and we knew they were not palatable actually with them.
Well, let's quickly take a break right now to take some commercials. Please don't go away.
Below 3-in-1 Milky and Creamy is truly milky and contains calcium. So, no need to add milk for that rich, creamy cup, which helps to nourish your kids.
Well, you're still on AM120 on the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, BCOS. We are reviewing the stories available here in the newspapers. I have the Nigerian Tribune, and we are on the sports page. Also charges Nigerian referees on excellence, and Saka now best paid Arsenal player. And those athletes, high Niger Delta Games at top sports. Well, that's all for the Nigerian Tribune this morning.
Well, with me is the Daily Sun newspaper. The lead story: elections may hold in December 2026 or January. A Senate moves to amend Electoral Act Bill in response to polls clash with Ramadan and Lenten season. And you find more of that on page 6. Well, we also have this one. FAAN bans cash transactions in airports. You find more of that on page 25. On page 26, Nnamdi Kanu, or return him to Kenya, Southeast Monarch, tells Tinubu. On page 25, NUPRC unveils gravimetric flow metering calibration facility to curb crude oil losses, bolster revenue transparency. On page 4, EFCT to secure remand order to detain El-Rufai till end of investigation. And on page 27, Obi condemns tear gassing of protesters, insists on electronic transmission of election results. All right, let's flip on to what we have on the inside pages. And this one is from page 2. Experts clash over federal government's planned asset sale to fund 25 trillion naira budget deficit. And of course, federal government also unveils industrial policy to drive jobs, global competitiveness. Flipping to what we have on page 4, we have ECOWAS courts taxed on guidelines for enforcement of judgment, and killings in Wefuru relaxes curfew in Ebonyi community. Attempted murder, how I was attacked, Nupeng deputy president tells court. Verifies things further as EFCC, DSS closing on him. Anti-graft agency moved to secure court order, detain ex-governor indefinitely. How we planned and executed our church attack. Witness tells court. On page 5, single fire, Senate to probe cause of incident. Adova, Lagos face a 5 billion naira suit over alleged Ikoyi property dispute. Again, gunmen abduct 6 travelers in the Benue, demand 100 million naira ransom, and 6 dead, 3 injured in Ogun auto crash. Lagos Lords NYCN and Council unveils safety emergency champions. ICPC tracks constituency projects in Benue. Flipping on to what we have on page 6, which has made the national news. Drama as Senate revisits Electoral Act to address date clash with Ramadan and Lenten period. INEC may fix general election between December 2026 and January 2027 and reduce 360-day statutory notice requirement in clause 28 to 300 days. And Senate votes 55-16 on mode of election results transmission. Reps resigned the early position and back Senate. And Christian youth joined CAN to condemn passage of ISBA bill in Niger. Flipping on to what we have on page 12. Imo ADC and lessons of failed PDP templates. On page 13, Wike, one of best leaders Nigeria has produced. That's coming from Professor Ono. And on Lifeline on page 14, furious women roar and kick against Senate e-transmission refusal and others. Love is not temporary. Well, that's coming from Archbishop Martins, not me. Find more of that on page 15.
So what's your own position?
I prefer not to speak. All right, we have this one on page 16. Between political calculations and prophecies in Nigeria. Page 17, Apugo land dispute. Enugu family battles police over 299 hectares of farmland. And we have more. Civil society must self-regulate to save Nigeria's democracy. That's coming from Udo on page 18. On page 19, I'm talking about Abuja Metro. Confessions of car thieves. Are we still cars in Abuja sell to dealers in Kaduna, Kano? IGP's confirm Benin police arrest 25 suspected kidnappers and robbers, as according to the Commissioner of Police. On page 20, entertainment is next hope for Nigeria after oil. And on page 29, our federalism, where we are now. Well, moving on to what we have on the other pages. Retirement fear on page 22. Silent crisis, further stealing, undermining economy. And they're talking about the imperative of a good pension plan. Consortium pays 181.9 million naira claims to others in Adamawa, Bauchi, and Plateau. And of course, there is more on page 23. No stable power, no AI future for Nigeria. As we see a nationwide quest being launched out there. Stakeholders on page 24 push urgent reforms to halt 400 billion naira maritime drain. Okay. And yes, we move on to what we have on page 26. Free Nnamdi Kanu or return him to Kenya. Southeast monarch tells Tinubu or Ni Eziaro debunk claim of disunity in Southern Traditional Rulers Council. Rivers women call for sustained peace and unity. Lord Tinubu, Fubara, and Wike. And on page 27, Obi condemns tear gassing of protesters, insists on electronic transmission of election results. Okay, yes, we have the federal government unveils 2026 seasonal climate prediction, reaffirms commitment to climate-informed development. And that's on page 27. Health experts converge to tackle dementia in aging citizens. And federal government's policy gives women opportunity to aspire higher in aviation. That's coming from the NCAA. And now on page 29, call for one-term Igbo presidency, rebranded deception. That's coming from Opia. And experts raise red flag over tobacco use in the southeast. 15 wedding guests die in Abia auto crash. Oti Mons, wife allegedly stabs husband to death in Abia. Enugu committed to quality education and healthcare. That's coming from Mba. And 20,000 Enugu Ebonyi students get free JAM forms under Pro Tinubu initiative. Now to sports. On page 30, match friendly. According to reports, Shell allegedly drops Nwabali. Lampard impressed with Onyeka in first game for Coventry. Super Falcons to face Cameroon in WAFCON warm-up friendlies. Ego Chema comments Tinubu for revolution in Nigerian sports. Napoli treated me like dog. Osime laments. Second Niger Delta Games, Igali upbeat on Team Bayelsa victory. Ondo State's athletes are top sports. And these are the stories that we have for you from the Daily Sun. And that's it right there on the newspaper review segment. So we take a break now, return with weather reports, and there's some more right after that. All right, thank you very much for sticking around with us. Welcome right here to the interview segment of AM120 this morning, and we are speaking about something that we saw recently, and that's the conversation around the asset freezing of 8 Nigerian suspected terrorists by the U.S. Government. We know that days ago, the story broke out that the United States government has imposed sanctions on 8 Nigerians over alleged links to terrorist organizations, including Boko Haram and the ISIS affiliates right there. And yes, that move includes assets freezes and financial restrictions, meaning any property or funds connected to the named individuals within U.S. jurisdiction are blocked. And, it's quite a lot to unpack when it comes to that conversation. That's why we have someone who knows all too well about this, a security scholar in Dr. Michael Adeniji, joining us this morning. You're welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, Nigerian.
The first thing that came to your mind, that's what we want to know now. When you saw that news breaking out, what was the first thing that ran through your mind that made you feel, oh, what is this?
Well, when you look at the way things have been shaping in the past 12 months in Nigeria insecurity environment, you will notice that America is taking a lot of interest in what is happening in Nigeria, which to many observers, it's surprising. And to others, it's not, because we know the geopolitical war, global geopolitical war between America, China, and Russia has led to a situation where America has to solidify its position because anything that has to do with American economy affect America's security, and they take the thing very serious. Oil is the fulcrum, one of the fulcrum of American economy, because that is what fuel industries, and they don't want the oil to stop flowing. Right now, America is having a problem in Venezuela. It is tied to oil. They have a problem in Iran. It's oil tied. They are giving a helping hand to Nigeria. It is oil tied. So if you look at all that environment, and Nigerian security environment in the past 5-6 years have become dominated by Chinese fund, Chinese presence, and Chinese control, which is against American interests. So if you have been a watcher of global security situation, you know that it's just about a matter of time before America gets involved in Nigeria. But America has chosen to get involved in the security side, which we all see that Nigerian government have not been able to get the right antidote to. A lot of people are happy, and I am happy too. I will not say I'm not happy. But the question I keep asking myself is, when somebody that supply you weapon to fight is not the one saying you should not fight, don't you see there's a small, what should I use? The thing does not tally very well.
What exactly do you mean by that?
Because American government is a major supplier of arms. Their economy and their business is arms selling. If you look at the history of the Nigerian Civil War, you'll find out that these Western countries, they sold arms to Nigerian government and they sold to Biafra simultaneously to fight each other. So I don't think what has changed in global politics to the extent that America is more interested in the Christians that are in Nigeria than the Christians that are in Palestine or the Christians that are anywhere else in the world. So there is an undertone to everything America is doing. And when you come into a conflict with an undertone, with a biased mind, then there's no way you can mediate that conflict effectively.
So you're saying they are not the right mediators into this?
I would say, to me, I am looking at what is going to cost us. American involvement in Nigerian security environment, what is the cost in the long run for Nigeria?
So we're talking about the long run costs.
Yes, the long run and even the immediate cost. They are coming. Well, they've come in. They said they have sent 100 technicians to come and train our army. They are coming to train our army on how to use American equipment to fight war. It's a business to them. To us, it's a life and death situation. But to them, we as a nation, we are just a business to them. But most Nigerians don't look at it from that point. Because if I come to teach you how to fight war with American missile, that means you have to buy American missile to fight the war. Because if I teach you to use American missile to fight the war, and you are buying Chinese missile, that means you will not fight the war effectively. So these moves are transactionary. I was thinking that if America has report on Nigerians that are involved in trafficking or they are involved in financing terror, it will take them anything to either arrest those people themselves or give this intel to the Nigerian government and allow the Nigerian government to arrest these people. Fitting the asset in the US does not help Nigeria.
Which leads me to questioning what threshold of intelligence now is required to get to that level where those sanctions get placed on those assets.
Well, definitely, you see, international fund transfer is a thing you cannot hide. The system is being monitored by all security agencies, the major security agencies. So what they must have seen is that there are some assets from them going to people of questionable character. That is what America must have followed. They have the system to do that. They have the resources to do that. But what I'm saying is, if you get that kind of intel and you know it will help Nigeria, why are we not giving the intel on the other table since we are doing cooperation already? You understand?
The question is,
yes.
They got here, started their work not so long ago. How have our own security agencies missed all of these doings?
So some of these people that they are facing, apart from Kwakwaso, almost all of them are on the radar of security. I think one or two of them were arrested in Dubai 2 years ago.
By who?
By the Dubai UAE government.
Not Nigeria.
Not Nigerian government. And some of them are under the purview. You know, this thing is not. I was talking to somebody about what they call intel. What is it, intel? You need intel is just what you deduct from several information. You can deduct it just like doing research work. You gather your data together. Then you try to pull the data together to get a certain information. That is what we call intel, a conclusion. Now from this conclusion is what you now recommend that this is what we do, this is what we do. But sometimes when you read your intel, it may be different from how you read the same intel. Understand? The intel I got, we can get the same intel, they will have different interpretation. You understand what I'm saying? So Nigerian government might have the same intel, but they may not get that intel to get to the point that this man is really financing this. So they have to wait, because if arrest is made, like Kwakwaso now, if Kwakwaso is arrested today, everybody will think it's political, because he belongs to the other political party.
But some people are still saying that it's because of
the
federal government not having the political will.
That's what I'm saying. Well, the political will issue will come to that. That is the very important part. But right now, you was asking why the government has not taken control. Maybe the intel they have is not complete enough. But what I'm saying is, if the American intel is complete and they think this is what is happening, I will avoid a situation where the Nigerian government is making this arrest and freezing these assets. But it is coming from the other way around. Now, we know what it shows us. It has reduced trust or even the local people in the Nigerian government. Because the question we're asking now, it has to do with trust. And even people do not trust their security forces, they will not respond well to them. They will not cooperate with them. So if you are coming into my country and giving better intel than the one local people are giving, without proper consultation, then you're undermining our local security situation. You are saying Nigerian security are not up to par. You're supposed to be our partner. So that is where I find the best thing a little bit, it would have been better If maybe the first minister come out and says, we have employed American government to frame the asset of so and so people because of this so and so intel, it will warm my heart to the Nigerian security apparatus. But now, just like every Nigerian is saying, let America come and save us, because our government does not have the power to fight this.
So who is afraid of the financiers? I mean, the Nigerian government seems to be afraid of those that are financing the terrorists.
Can we say that? Or should we say they are part of the government? It's not the fear, but it's the fact that people, in any way you go to, people who finance insurgency, people who finances terrorism, even criminal activities, are high-level people. They are not common man on the street. So it is a part, the people who are problem. Even Governor Jonathan said it before he left government. He said, Boko Haram are even with me here in my office. That is why we've been having problem with intelligence in Nigeria, because the system and the criminals are interwoven. We've not been able to separate the system from the people who are involved in the criminal activities. I believe that's why a lot of Nigeria are saying, let other people come from outside and look at it. But the only way we can solve our problem is when we develop indigenous policy to solve our problem.
Do we have the political will to do that?
It's not about political will. It's about a system that has been corrupted from beginning. We have been set up to fail from beginning.
By who?
By the whites before they left us. The system we adopted, which nobody wants to change now because it is benefiting them, have been skewed from the moment, from the Independence Day. Everything they handed over to us has been skewed. It has been skewed towards us destroying ourselves. Our population, our army, our policing system, the security system we have has been pro-government, where the people are seen as bloody civilians. Policing is not a force. People need to understand that. So the work the Nigerian police force itself is an aberration. Police is a service to the community. Army is a force because they are in charge in fighting war. Strictly, that's their job. But policing is a social enterprise that involves relating with the people. You understand what I'm saying? But in Nigeria, we have introduced the word force into policing. It's so bad that in everything we're doing, police is supposed to be part of its environment, part of its society. Police is supposed to understand what is happening in every street and every corner. But the Nigerian police want to go about in a car, carrying 4 guns in one car, and then you expect me to approach somebody that's carrying a gun to give them intel?
Maybe because we don't have state police.
It's not about that. It's about the system. If you go to London today, every street corner has a policeman on foot patrolling it. He knows every houses. He knows the fact that you are strong on that street. Do you understand what I'm saying? Apart from the fact that nobody watches which are on the street, the police itself patrol the environment. Not as a gun carrying, AK-47 carrying man. They carry only baton and patrol the street. We've had that for a long time in those environments. Then the environment have what you call local constables, who are volunteers. So policing is a people thing in some environment. But here in Nigeria, it's a first thing. The later you see police is when there is fight, when there is armed robbery, when there is this. Police are not part of our life. We are not part of police operation. We don't even know what they are doing. You just see them go around, whoa, overtaking everybody on the streets. That is not policing. Our problem cannot be solved with army, buying more guns, or giving police more guns. Our problem is a social, economic, and political problem. If you want to trace the history of violence in Nigeria, go back to the 1970s after the Civil War. If you grew up in areas like Lagos, immediately after the Civil War, because of surplus arms that was around, because our fathers there, they used to say, tí o lè bá fúnfẹ́ǹsì wọlé tó bá dún gbìm tó nílé ò bá tí sùn gbogbo ẹ̀kẹ́ ẹ̀kan. That is, they have to jump back. Because the chiefs of those days come in, they want to take you by surprise. Because they are only armed with knives and all these small things. But immediately after the Civil War, because of the proliferation of arms, you have armed robbers terrorizing Lagos and all its environment. It became an issue that at that time, it was proliferation of arms that led to more criminals. You know what happened? House owners had to buy more guns to protect themselves. We're talking about proliferation of arms, yet for us to defend ourselves, homeowners had to buy guns, start vigilante. This was what led to OPC in the late 80s and 90s. The problem of that criminality was not solved by government. It was not solved by policing. It was because a higher form of crime came up that does not put the criminal in a more dangerous situation. 419 came. Bank fraud came. So the criminal of those days, they metamorphosed into 419s and all this, and then we have a little bit of peace in Southwest. Then if you go back, the flood moved to the north. The north have been suffering from poverty for a very long time. High level of poverty. Anytime they say Nigeria are living below $1 per day, they are not talking of Southwest. They are not really talking about Southeast. They are talking of the Hop North. Hop North is where people are living on less than $1 per day. And they have been living on it for a very long time. Even $1 was 150 to 1 naira. It has been a consistent level of poverty in those areas. And this poverty, when people don't have resources, crime will always rise up. The people are fighting not because they are becoming criminal, not because they choose to become criminal. Some of them choose to become criminal because there are no resources within the environment. And then within a few months, somebody will go to Abuja and will come back with big cars. You see, this is an environment that there's no affluence. And then 1 or 2, 3 people have a lot of money because they are in government. So people now looked at it that, a lot of them are now looking at it that, so if I cannot be in government, let me be in crime. So far I make money. So our problem is not a gun problem. It's the fact that the government is not increasing employment. They are not increasing youth access to resources. They are not including the youth in programs so that they understand what is going on. No. So the youth are rebelling. That is where we are. So America coming in, Poland coming in, is not our problem.
All right, Doctor, thank you very much for that submission. Thank you also for taking us through the course of crime, across the country. We'll go on this commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to ask a very important question. If poverty is being weaponized because of what you've just said, but let's go for this break, and then we'll be right back.
When malaria knocks you down, you can be sure parasites are having a party in your system.
Welcome to our new kingdom, guys!
Comel, an effective weapon against malaria. Attacking the parasite army directly to give you express relief and get you back on your feet effectively. Comel on. Malaria gone.
Protect every day with Hypo.
Germs always find a way back.
So disinfect your living room every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go Hypo. Protect your home every day with Hypo.
No green. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go Hypo.
Well, thank you very much. We're still in conversation with Dr. Michael Adeliji, a security scholar on the conversation around the assets freezing of 8 Nigerian suspected terrorists by the U.S. government. And it dropped a quotable quote not too long ago saying, our problem is a socio-economic political one. Which leads me to the question, is poverty being heavily weaponized in Nigeria?
Well, totally, either intentionally or unintentionally, our political class has continued to do that.
Is it just a political class, or let's say the elite? Because
Yes,
political class, there's someone not in politics.
No, let me make you understand something. In Nigeria, you have everybody that is above middle income is in the political class.
Really?
Yes, that's how you can get there. Because if you are doing business, for you to grow in Nigeria, you are not tied to the government, then you can't grow. So basically, everybody is tied to the government somehow. That is somebody in Nigeria. Everybody that is somebody in Nigeria. Even if you have a lecturer that is a high-level lecturer, is tied to the government somewhere. That is how Nigeria has been designed. Now, we have designed a system where the president is at the top of the triangle. The president at the topmost top. Then everybody that is working with the president is directly below him. Then next, the governors and all this. You see, the country we have is a country where the politicians dictate everything. In some countries, you have the industrialists. Like if you go to America today, you have, when they talk of American president, they are talking of people like Elon Musk, because they have enough resources to checkmate the government. But in Nigeria, it's not like that. All our big men are tied to the government. So the government determines what happens to everybody.
Is there any way we can change the trend?
Well, the only way we can change the trend is for more people to become rich. Unfortunately, it's only government that determines who will get rich. so if anybody is getting rich, it's being supported by the government to get rich.
Doctor, from your illustrations earlier on, and then mentioning now that Nigeria is too government-centric in a way, how then do we juxtapose criminals, people who have perpetrated evil over time, getting into power? What exactly has led to that? How come that we are having that and nobody's acting like we're seeing it?
No, because I said we have social problem. Now, when you want a society, when you want to eliminate a culture, what you do is you transplant another culture on them. That is what the West has done to most African countries. Like in Nigeria today, all of us are thinking of, only thing we think about is how to go to America, how to go to London, how to do this, how to do that. We are not thinking as Africans again. That was the first thing they took from us. They took our culture, they took our way of life, they replaced it with another way of life. So our thinking now is not balanced again. You are thinking like an Igbo man, meanwhile you are in Nigeria. Anything you want to put together, your level of, how do you call it, your base for judging any environment. Our environment, our culture is not the culture we are following today. So most of our leaders cannot relate with the people at the bottom again, because the system they are following is not the system people you see on common people on the street are following. We have come to that point where we really need to assess, sit back again and look at ourselves. Are we going to become Oyibo people totally? Or are we going to go back to our old ways of doing things? Because basically, what I want to bring out from my story about Lagos is that it was not security people that stopped crime in Lagos and Southwest in the 80s and 90s. It was homeowners buying guns. It was homeowners forming vigilantes. It was homeowners spending sleepless nights patrolling their own streets against these people. So local resilience Community resilience is what will solve this crime. Is what will solve this terrorism. Soldiers will come and go. We cannot have soldiers enough to defend every village. We cannot. America was in Afghanistan for a long time. They never won against the terrorists there. As a matter of fact, at the end of the day, when they were leaving Kabul, they left Kabul to the people they were fighting for over 50 years. For you to understand that terrorists can play a long game. They will fight, they will hide. Fight, hide. They even run away from where you are chasing them to another area to go and hide for some time before they come back again. Because they know that soldiers cannot stay in one place for a long time. When you deploy them to this place, when you think that the problem has gone down, you deploy them to another place again. Then the criminal come back to where they were before.
So do you see America, stay in Nigeria for a long time?
The Americans are not, they say they are not here to fight for us.
They say.
They said they are here to give us technical know-how, to give us how to fight, to teach us how to fight. But what I'm saying is, even if we recruit 1 million policemen, soldiers, they cannot defend all the villages we have in the northern Nigeria and Middle Belt at the same time. So with that, what we need is to increase the resilience of our locals. Let everybody be able to defend their home.
Defend. That means more harms.
What can we do? When the person that's coming to fight you is coming with arms, do you stay and wait with stick?
When people are asking that there should be a mop-up of this ammunition.
How do you, they've read in 2019, they mop up the weapon in public hand. That's what I think Buhari did. He gave the instruction that they should mop up. Right now, people are getting licensed to carry gun. And you know that a lot of people are doing that. One thing I want to tell you today is that Nigeria has one of the best local arm manufacturing industry in Africa. Yet, the federal government does not recognize those companies, those illegal companies. They are building guns every day for people. If you don't have gun, many households in Nigeria has gun. As a matter of fact, there was a study that says that by 2020, about 6 million homes in Nigeria has guns. So, why are we not lying to ourselves? The guns are there, but they are not legalized. Why don't we have a system in which everybody that has guns should come and register it?
Doctor, at this point, with what you're saying, do you think we should look the way of community policing, state policing, like they have said? Maybe if we have more of them in there, maybe it will be better. Maybe they can now sit back and say they will look at local producers of ammunition, of arms.
That's it. We'll be talking about bringing policing to the community. And that's what we're talking about. You see, community should be empowered to defend themselves. That's what we call local policing. Let community be empowered. If we have problem of armed robbery in Lagelu local government and we need 10,000 policemen, let Lagelu local government employ 10,000 policemen. Then the federal government can give us support. It is not that the federal government will now give us 100 policemen to police an environment where you need 10,000 policemen. I don't think you understand what I'm saying. There is limited a number of police and soldiers in Nigeria already. We know their number, between 300 to 600,000. All of them together. They cannot police 200 million people. It's as simple as that. So our problem is in number. We have places they call ungovernable area, unpoliced area. Look at, let me give you an example for your state now. In Oyo State, we have this place they call Oyo, what do they call it? Forest Reserve. There have been indicators that there are criminals in those reserves. But even if you mop up all the policemen in Oyo State and move them to the reserve, it will take them like 2 weeks to go around the reserve. You see what I'm saying? We need to police that environment. We don't have enough resources. So if we are allowed, if the local government that are tied to that area is allowed to create its own policing force, then we cannot have more hand to police that environment. In our this thing, we are locking up our resources and not using what we need to use. And that is why we're having this problem. Either we could bring America is not going to bring its soldiers to come to village in Igbo, to come and secure Igbo.
All right, let's hold on that a bit now. Let's pay this commercial bills. And then we'll be right back talking about the Igbo, talk about, other places and how we can better secure ourselves.
When malaria knocks you down, you can be sure parasites are having a party in your system.
Welcome to our new kingdom, guys.
Comel, an effective weapon against malaria. Attacking the parasite army directly to give you express relief and get you back on your feet effectively. Comel on Malaria Gone.
All right, thank you very much. We're still having a conversation right here. And yes, Dr. Michael Adeniji has been serving us deep insights regarding this whole issue. The reason why I mentioned Igbo was because recently we've seen the coast rather in the southeast talking about the security and governors saying no more sit at home on Mondays. Everybody come out to sell your market as it should be. And then the case of Nnamdi Kanu. And then the equivalence of Sunday Igboho and Nnamdi Kanu by one of the monarchs with the president yesterday. And when the monarchs are starting to dabble into that, and we have those movements happening right there, we have more security questions to answer at this point in time. How do you think we can internally properly solve our issues security-wise as a country?
That's what we're saying. Everybody has to get involved. It is not, you see, why we get to this point is because every time you talk security, my brother, everybody talks about, they talk about that security matters are secret. Security matters are, no, don't talk about it. We will discuss it in the close. When you ask, what are we doing to solve security problem? Most people don't want to even discuss it. They don't want to discuss it because they keep everything under wrap. And this has cost us a lot of things. Because, for God's sake, security of the people cannot be determined by somebody that is staying in Abuja. Or somebody that is staying in Ibadan, discussing security of people that is in Igbo. We need a system where security system will be bottom to top, not top to bottom. What we have now is all the laws are being made in Abuja. All the operations are being carried out. Now, when you make one law for northern Nigeria where we have terrorism, you make the same law for Ibadan where what we have is kidnappers. Does it work?
So the peculiarity of each case is different.
No, security is a local thing. This security in Ibadan is different from what we have in Sokoto, which is different from what we have in different from what we have in Igboho. And if you look at it well, even within Ibadan itself, if within Oyo State, when you look at what is happening in Oyo State itself, you try to look at what is happening in Oyo State. The security situation within Oyo State, by the time you leave Ibadan, you move to Lalukmo here, you find that security situation in Lalukmo is different from what you have in Ibadan. Because they are not the same environment. There's peculiarity to each environment. I can only understand the environment when you are within the environment. I cannot be in Ibadan and be saying, this is what is happening in Lalukmo. So we have to have a system in which we recognize the fact that there's peculiarity to each environment. And the security design should be local. Local government chairmen should be given enough resources to create security system that we handle basic security within the environment.
Okay, you said security should be local.
Should be local.
Let's now look at the impact of the local security that we have. Talking about the Amoteco and others. I mean, what has been their impact? Do you think that they are impacted?
There's nobody that will tell you that the Amotekun has not impacted positively on Nigeria, on your people. Aside from the fact that they have contributed a lot to fighting security, the people themselves, they feel more safer when they see an Amotekun around. And the security is partly people's perception. People feel more secure when they see security organization that they can trust. People in Oyo State trust the Amotekun. One, because Amotekun does not oppress them, does not treat them badly. Amotekun is able to face criminal. They believe that it's our own. They can fight criminal. So all this has bring a lot of stability to Oyo State in security. Amotekun and all this local security outfit has brought a lot of stability to Oyo State security. And if you want to get an example, our neighbor here, Kwara, it's a good example. The fact that they have a security outfit, but the security outfit is not pronounced. You see the kind of problem that has come into the environment.
Do you mean that it's not well funded?
It's not well operational. If you look at the Amotekun even today, Oyo State have the highest number of Amotekun. Most states, they have less than 1,000 Amotekun. We are just have over 2,500. Yes, as they say, it's because of the size. It's not. It's because the environment demands it. Even we that we are in security, we are saying 2,500 Amotekun is too low. But 2,500 is the best that any state has done. You understand? Apart from Lagos State that has neighborhood watch, their security outfit that is higher than everybody. Oyo State is the second in the Amotekun state. And the first in Amotekun because Lagos State does not have Amotekun. It's only Ogun, Oyo, and all these other western states. So Amotekun has been a real support for security operation in Southwest. And we are asking that state government should be given the right. It's not just state government, the local government should be given the right to have their own policing system, which we believe could bring better security into every environment.
So what do you think is hindering this? I mean, what has been the hindrance?
Legal pronouncement. The Constitution does not recognize state policing yet. So we are looking forward to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to be amended, which our president has been saying they will amend. We are still on it. But if that is the solution, why are we rushing after American solution when we have a local solution on ground already? That let's create resources for states to start handling policing within the environment.
Would that be possible? Because states like Osun now was having issues with local government funds. There are questions hanging in there. Would that really work?
No, you see, what we are saying is this. Already, every year, we have a budget for federal policing.
Yeah.
We are not saying scrap federal police, but we are saying let states have direct budget for policing. You understand? It will be a direct financing from all our resources. Because if you give the money directly to states and say, go afford policing, like the Amotekun now, some states have only 500 Amotekun. 500 police will not solve the problem of each state. But if there is a fund that is coming directly from federal government, and this one is for policing directly, to cover cost of operations and cost of salaries, just like they do with teachers and all these things. We know how much teachers are supposed to get, and they come directly into their account. They have to first deduct that. So we need a system where there's assurance that when we get the policemen, they are not going to be paid 10,000 every month. Because when you get policemen, you are paying them 10,000. You get policing of 10,000. That is one of the problems we have in community, where we hire guards. I pay them 20,000 a month. When the man come, he close the gate by 10 and he go and sleep in his house. He come back early in the morning and open the gates. Because you are paying him, the job is not important to him. How can you be paying me 20,000 and say I should go come and secure you? In a house of 200 million, you are paying the gate man at the gate 20,000. Does it make sense? So the policing system have to be a policing system that is well thought out. Not the one that we are doing now, that we are paying security men 15,000, 20,000. I was called by one of the local government here to create a security system for them. I did. And what I told the chairman is that when we came to employment, I told him, me, I cannot recruit policemen and pay them 20,000. If you're going to employ only 200 policemen, the least we can pay them is minimum wage. Let them feel they are part of something. Not that, let me be managing here until I see a better job. Anytime you hire people that think like that, you are not hiring anybody because their mind is not with you.
So the motivation is different.
The motivation is different.
So how about states look differently? Maybe away from the federal government. Maybe, I know that in the United States of America, we have the NYPD, we have different police departments. How about we run that kind of a system?
That's what we're asking for.
But then the states are in charge, not...
No, you have the states, you have state police, then you have community police, that's local government. We create within their own local government police. Like now, the state government have about 2,500 Amotekun. What is going to cost all the local government to have like maybe 500 community Amotekuns? You have 33 local government in Oyo State. If each local government have 500 Amotekun, you know how much that is? No, I just want you to imagine. We are talking about 15,000 to 16,000 policemen already. If you add it to the 2,005 of state government, you're having about 18,500, if not 13,000. 13,000 will go a long way in helping us to secure our environment while we build up later. Local government can afford that from their salary to hire 500 local Amotekun, which will be added to the...
I also just discovered recently that there are other security outfits. I know we have the armed forces, we have the NSCDC, we have the police, the federal police, we have the Amotekun. I discovered that there are some other security outfits, maybe run in some certain areas. There was one popular one I came across in a certain community, Agbekoya. Yeah. I saw that and, I was thinking, did it have to be that these people would take, the whole thing into their own hands and do it their own way?
Yeah, one advantage we have in the Southwest is that I told you that local defenses that we start setting up when there were crime in the 80s and 90s brought out the OPC, Agbekoya. Agbekoya used to be the traditional security outfit in Oyo State.
Oh, back then?
Back then. They were disbanded after in the 1970s, after they had problem with the police. There was a riot, there's an Agbekoya war that we fought in the battle here. That now led to disbandment of the Agbekoya. But in the early 90s, they start coming back again. When we have problem, people start consulting themselves and they form the Reform Agbekoya. And then you have the OPC. It was insecurity that brought back all these traditional outfits. And it was because these traditional outfits exist. There's no legal situation backing them. That's why the Western Security Network that became Amotekun was formed. To pick from this security outfit.
Okay, they are picked from...
Yes, Agbekoya, the first Amotekun were picked from this existing security outfit. The Hunter, the Agbekoya, the OPC, so there are so many of them. They are picked, but those organizations still exist. They still exist because some communities still use them. Because there are so many on police environment. So those communities still use Agbekoya, they use OPC to guide the environment.
Okay, now let's talk about the trend that we've seen. Movements from the northeast, northwest, Now you're starting to look at north central areas a lot, especially Kwara State, and it's now bordering on Oyo State. I remember I served in Kayama years ago, over a decade ago.
I was there about 3 months ago.
Oh, interesting. and you know, I knew that for what it's worth, Kayama is, if you're moving from Kayama to Ibadan, you are going through Kishi and Igbeti. Even to other parts of Kwara State, you are going through Kishi and Igbeti, which are towns in Oyo State.
Yeah.
And that area has been attacked.
Yeah.
We're also seeing some other attacks in some other areas. What exactly is happening, and how can we better network to stop this?
Yes, you see, where I have problem with us is, we are talking about this now. And most of the things we talked about is never looked in by our government. We don't look into it. You see, before problem will come, there are some indicators that you notice around you. If you go through Oyo State, most of the area in Oyo State, I have opportunity of traveling around Oyo State, some neighboring states. I told you I was in Kayama about 3 months ago. Thank God I was not kidnapped. You will notice that some of our peri-urban area and the rural area are not policed. No policemen want to work there. If you go to Kayama, Kayama is outside Oyo. If you go to Igbeti and all these things, you see one small police station with 4 policemen there. But when you are here in Ibadan, you see police people everywhere. Then you wonder, why are we not having some of these policemen securing the cities in this environment? So when there's problem in that environment, before police will get there, if you are going from Ibadan to Igbeti, you know how many hours it takes. So our response time in that environment is like 3-4 hours.
And we now have a plane.
Even with the plane, can plane land and then you will be at the location you want to get to within 1 hour. The plane is, well, I will not talk about the plane. Because one, is the pilot standing by the plane? How many people can the plane carry? You need to look at all these things. So can the plane carry 50 well-armed men to go and fight militants in Igbeti? How long will it take the plane to take off? There's what we call response time. In most economy, where you say, they always measure the time when you call police and when they arrive at a situation. The minimum time is always 10 minutes. So when somebody in Igbeti has a crisis and call policeman, before any policeman will arrive, to take 4 hours, by then the whole town is wiped out. What we will do now is, we will now be arresting stragglers that we see around. Then we will now say, we made 14 arrests. We made 30 arrests. After the fact.
We'll delve deeper into this conversation right now because it's a more comprehensive matter we're talking about here. But let's go pay these bills and we'll be right back.
During this blessed month, we begin with prayer, with faith, and with the spirit of giving. Ramadan is more than just about fasting. It's about bringing hearts together. Together we break our fast and celebrate this holy month. Bring out the flavors of the season with Anga. Ramadan Kareem.
Thank you very much for sticking around with us. Yes, we're still having the conversation. The topic is still assets freezing of 8 Nigerians suspected terrorists by the U.S. government. And our guest has been a security scholar, Dr. Michael Adeniji. And in the course of breaking all of that down, we have taken, a tour around Nigeria. And presently, we are talking about Kayama, Kishi, Igbeti, the security network in there, and how it relates to your state, especially in the light of the recent attacks in Kwara communities. There's so much to look at when we're having that conversation. Is it that we are just docile intentionally? What exactly is happening in these communities?
Well, I'm still telling you this. If you look at those areas, those rural communities, the presence of policing there is even government activities there is very low. That is why it is easy for criminals to stay around there. If you go to Kayama, between this, the roads network is bad.
It's very bad, yeah.
The environment, they don't have facility, they don't have infrastructures in the environment. So the people are just living, they believe they are living in the bush. So even if you post a policeman to that place, the policeman doesn't want to stay there. Because nobody wants to go and stay in the bush. The ones that are staying there, what they end up doing is exploiting the poor locals again. The few people, police that stay there. They just exploit them. Because I was in Kayama, I went around Kayama, and all the bush parts, you see policemen, the bush part collecting tolls. That is the only sign of governance that is in those environments. The only fact to show them that there's government is that people exploiting the people. So how do you want the people to behave to government? How do you want these people to cooperate with government? When the people that are supposed to protect them, give them some succor in life, are the one that is still collecting this little money they have. So the security problem is not well taken care of in those environments. And it is because of this our system of top to bottom approach. Maybe the local government itself has a security outfit. They will be employed from the locals. And the locals will stay within the environment and police their own environment. They can have assistance from the federal police or the army when there is bigger problem. But everyday security should be handled by the people so that the people can approach their own people. What has been the success of the Amotekun? Because the Amotekun is a Nigerian thing, is a Ibadan thing, or your thing. The people that are in the Amotekun are local people. So you can approach an Amotekun man and give him information easily because you know him. He's our person. And when the community own policing, police always survive. Police always excel. Because the people, before crisis will come, the people knows. Before anything, how can you tell me that they come to an environment and kidnap 147 people? Nobody knows about it. Is it possible?
That reminds me that a couple of days back, I saw a video, a school right there in another Kwara community where reportedly they had been given notice that there would be presence of these terrorists,
yes.
And then nobody came to school and all that. But then I believe that better steps could also be taken. And I also I think we ignore some certain occurrences. We see reports that they have a wave of about 50 bikes moving, armed men.
Yes. And they pass several villages. Before they get to the village, they're going to attack.
So nobody stopped them all through?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying. We are saying the same thing. The villagers that they are passing on the way do not have a relationship with the government. So they could not give that information to the government in advance. If they have a relationship, you see, if you take a 9-year-old boy in London, if you take his bag from him, he might not even address you. But as he's turning the next corner, he's calling 911. Because he has a relationship with police. Police always come to their school to address them, to fraternize with them. So the policeman that is in charge of that street corner, he knows the policeman.
So the presence is there in the mind.
Yeah, in the mind. We have a relationship with the police. But in our own environment, We don't have any relationship with police.
So how do we now build it?
That is what we are saying. Let the police come from the community. If your brother is the policeman that is guiding us in Bachoru here, and I know you, even if I cannot approach your brother, I'll come and tell you, say, bros, this thing is happening. You can tell your brother so that he can help us. Because I know you and I know your brother. But when you carry a Fulani man to come and police Ibadan, where is the link? You understand? And the man come, he goes inside his patrol vehicle, carry gun. So you want me to go and stop somebody that's carrying gun, to go and tell him that I saw some people carrying gun in bush. Then they will not arrest me first. You see where the court is. For you to get intel, you have to be part of the people. Our police are not part of the people. The police look at themselves a little bit above the people. See all these federal police, they look at themselves and say, they're a big man. You people are on the floor. So the people too look at them as enemy, occupation armies. They don't look at them as their friends. You see, people that have police friends, they have police friends because they are criminals or they are going to commit a crime. Most people avoid the police totally. So it cannot work like that. We need to have a system in which policing should be done locally. That way, it will be easier for police to operate and to get intel. Because in between that environment, there are close-knitted villages. You see villages like Betty, all those people around. And some people carry like 50 bikes at one time. And they pass all those villages. And nobody pick up a phone and call police that there is something strange happening here. You see there's a breakdown in relationship. Until we repair that relationship, even if we like, let's bring all the American soldiers to come and fight for us. They will fight and they will go. And that sort of problem will come up again. Okay. We've had opportunity to develop our policing for years. But what do? We spend so much money on our armed forces and we neglect the police. Instead of us to increase policing, we spend all the resources on army, thinking army will solve the problem. Army cannot solve internal security problem. We need police. Nowhere in the world does the army solve internal problem. The army job is cut and dry. Their job is see criminal, see somebody attacking the state, kill him. And killing does not stop all these things. People are so hungry that even if you say they will die tomorrow, I've seen people that are doing Yahoo, what do you call it? That are doing all this, what do they call this thing, that money ritual. And they'll tell them they will die in 6 months. Say, let me just enjoy for 6 months. Even now, I've been suffering for years. Even if it's just 6 months, I will suffer. I will enjoy and die. The value of life is not so important to people again. They are ready to die. So killing them will not stop insurrection, will not stop terrorism, might not even stop even ordinary armed robbery. What we need is a system that eliminate them, that make them know that if you try to do this thing, the police will get to you before you do it. So when the deterrent is higher enough, people will start looking for another way to make their money. But what they have noticed is that police only react after they are done. They have collected their money. They have enjoyed themselves. So they will say, my brother, let us go and chop this small money first, even if we go die tomorrow.
Let's look at the financiers of this crime. What policy do you think the federal government can put in place, to check these financiers?
Following the money has always been a way of looking at how to solve crime. For you to solve crime, you need to follow the money. That's the standard English about that people who are into international terrorism always says. But you see, the problem is the money itself that we are following. We don't have enough resources to do that.
Enough resources as well?
Yes, because most of these people are not using funds from Nigeria. They are using funds, they are trading these funds internationally. So our monitoring of the fund, like all these things that America is giving us, they are from foreign accounts. They are accounts that are in America or all these other countries where they have to use international transfer codes and things. That's what they can follow, what they are following. Nigeria might not be able to follow this in full time. Although we follow the local ones, the local transfer is being followed. And Nigeria has a peculiar problem. Nigeria is a very liquid environment. Nigeria is a country where if you need 10 billion today, some people give you cash. So following the cash in this environment become more restricted because we have a very liquid economy. People now, there are people who are talking about they will give you 3 billion. No, they will just send one boy to their house and bring, you just together must go landing. And that is why we have problem with exchange rate in Nigeria. Because a lot of people, because they don't want to hold their money in Naira, they just change it to dollar and put under their pillow. So how do you follow those money that are under people's pillowcase? Which is lot. These are not things that people are saying. These are things I've experienced. When people tell you that, how much do you need? Say, I need 500 million. Say, send somebody to follow me. They are not taking it to bank. They are taking it to their house.
What happened to the cashless policy?
Huh?
What happened to the cashless policy?
Which cashless policy? There are some business you are doing in this country that they will not take transfer from you. They only take cash. And they are still continuing doing it. We have a lot of money in circulation in Nigeria. A lot.
In cash.
A lot in cash. So if you want to follow money in Nigeria, you might be following nothing. Because the cash people want to spend it, have it. I'm asking you, when we say our elections are monetized, where is the cash coming from? Is the cash they used to pay for election now? And they pay it. The money is there. People who hold the money are there. But what I'm saying is, our system has not developed a very good policing system against all these things. A good policing system of gathering intelligence. Be able to strike these people before they strike us. We have not been doing that. What we're doing is, after they strike us, we go and look for them, and we kill some of them, and then we wait for another strike. So maybe America is coming to teach us a better policing method, which I expect that Nigeria should adopt as soon as possible. A lot of people are not ready to make this decision because of election. We are going to wait till after election because some of these decisions are made. Because some of these decisions might affect people's election. So nobody wants a state government to have enough police so that when they want to rig in that state, those local police will fight the federal police. Or when the local people want to rig, they will use the police to rig. You see the problem we're having? We have the political issue that is now making us not to make the right decisions. That's where we come about when you talk about political will. The political will is now an issue because most of us are faced with the fact that our leaders are finding it difficult doing a full-out war because of election that is coming.
Solid point in there. Before we delve into that, we go pay these bills. When we come back, we'll talk about what we've seen ahead of the coming elections and, of course, diplomacy, among several other things.
Super Malt Multivitamin Active Teens. Super Malt Multivitamin Active Teens. Shine on. During this blessed month, we begin with prayer, with faith, and with the spirit of giving. Ramadan is more than just about fasting. It's about bringing hearts together. Together we break our fast and celebrate the blessings of this holy month. bring out the flavors of the season with Anga Ramadan Kareem.
Protect every day with Hypo.
Germs always find their way back.
So disinfect your kitchen every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go Hypo. Protect your home every day with Hypo.
No grease. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go Hypo.
Very much for sticking around. We're having the conversation right here. And yes, addressing our security issues with the security scholar, Dr. Michael Adeniji, who is now taking us onto the political front. 2027 or maybe 2026 elections are coming, and we know what it means for us. So yes, let's go back to talking about political will. Let's go back to talking about the build-up to that election and how the power play and the dynamics are looking presently in the battle against insecurity.
Yeah, well, it's so interesting that we're in the political environment now, and when politics is being played, every other thing takes the back border. That's the challenge we are facing now. It's so unfortunate that a lot of insecurity issues are coming up at this time, but we expect it because the country itself is going through a lot of change. The process is changing, the laws are changing, and the people in government too are changing. So it's a time of transition. And in this time of transition, people tend to take advantage of this kind of this to foment trouble so that the incumbent government will look as if they cannot handle the security situation. So that they will use that for campaign. If you look at it a lot, El-Rufai was talking about, I think he was talking about some security issue, that he was arrested unfairly, this one happened. But we know that political activities always lead to more insecurity. The boys on the streets are looking for ways to make more money from politics as political operations are started. So the politicians are looking to block their own environment so that other people don't take over the environment. So we have a lot of issues that is even around between this 2026 and 2027.